Hello, I'm trying a new medium for my writing, looking for comments and suggestions. This video will have a short chapter from my new book, Is Billy a Naughty Dog? Let me know if you like it. Is Billy a Naughty Dog? Chapter 4, Rabbits. Billy was lying on his bed, dreaming of chasing rabbits. Billy loved chasing rabbits. He didn't know why. They'd never done anything to him. However, when he saw them, he had to chase them out the garden. He just couldn't explain it. He just did it. He looked up at his people. They were all on their phones. What was so interesting about the little devices that all the people ever did was stare at these things. Nobody ever wanted to take him for a walk, and they never wanted to chase a rabbit with him. What was wrong with his people? Billy scratched the door several times before Charlie got up with a huff and let him out. He looked up at Charlie expectantly, as if Charlie would come out to play, but Charlie's eyes never left the phone screen. The door slammed behind him. Billy went to explore the garden. The grass was wet and some leaves had fallen down. A musty smell caught his attention. He liked it and he started to follow the source. The further he followed the scent, the stronger it became. The scent was sweet and salty at the same time. He recognized it. Rabbits! His ears went up and the fur on his back stood on end. The hunt was on. The scent trail led to a large green bush at the bottom of the garden. Billy had his head down, intent on tracking down his prey. He pushed his body under the bush further and further. The sun didn't penetrate down here and it started to get dark. A new smell appeared. What was that? This time it wasn't bacon, it was cheese. Okay, I'll follow that, he thought. He followed the smell, suddenly distracted from the smell of the rabbits. The smell led him to a small wooden doorway underneath the bush. Sure enough, the smell was coming from the door. He pushed the door open with his nose and went through the door. Billy fell onto a soccer pitch. He was a little surprised and dazed. In the distance, he could hear rumbling and voices. Running towards him came a small white object. As the object approached him, it looked like a ball. However, it was not a normal ball. The ball had arms and legs and was running. The ball was also breathing hard and looking worried. Behind the ball, Billy noticed some figures running his way, apparently chasing the ball. To Billy's surprise, the ball came right up to him and said, "Help me!" Billy was so surprised he didn't have anything. He didn't say anything. He just stood there with his tongue hanging out. The ball looked at Billy, jumped on his back. "Help me!" Billy turned his head left and right and said, "What are you doing?" The ball pointed to the figures running towards Billy and the ball. "Let's go!" The figures running towards Billy and the ball were dressed in either red or blue soccer uniforms. They were closing in fast and showed no signs of stopping. And upon closer inspection, the figures were all rabbits. However, not your normal, cuddly, chaseable rabbits, but 6-foot-tall, menacing-looking rabbits. "Get them!" yelled one of the rabbits. Billy took one more glance and took off at full speed. To his horror, the rabbits gave chase. This was a nightmare. He went out this morning hoping to chase rabbits off his property, and now he's being chased by monster rabbits. Billy ran as fast as he could down the field. There appeared to be a goal at the other end of the field. As Billy approached, he could see a figure in the goal. Maybe this person could help him. As he got closer to the goal, Billy could see the goalkeeper was a rather large bull in a green jersey. The bull had a ring through his nose and tattoos on his arm. The bull was holding on to Billy's back, screaming, "Not that way!" The bull flexed his rather large biceps and stared at Billy. Billy left and ran towards the side of the field. A new sound could be heard. It was a sound of cheering. In the stands were all sorts of animals: mice, rabbits, birds, and ducks, cheering and waving. A large rabbit wearing red came at Billy from his right, and another large rabbit wearing blue came from his left. They were coming for Billy. Billy jumped as high as he could. The two soccer players clashed underneath with a bone-crunching thud. The crowd roared in delight. Billy was scared and getting tired. In the corner of the field between the stadium and the stands, Billy saw an opening with no supporters. He headed for the gap. As he got there, he heard heavy breathing just behind him. He looked over his shoulder and saw a rabbit with a mohawk about to tackle Billy. The rabbit slid towards Billy and caught his legs. Billy crashed, rolling over and over. The ball flew in the air and the crowd gasped. Billy retained his feet, jumped, and caught the ball with his teeth. He carried on running, flipping the ball in the air, and the ball grabbed again onto Billy's back. They both raced out the stadium. The rabbits continued to chase them off the field. Billy could see a hedgerow coming up, and he was getting tired, and he was running for his life. Somehow he found the energy to leap the bush and landed safely on the other side. He turned around to see the rabbits were still chasing them. They stormed right through the bush. Suddenly, 6 large rabbits were a few feet away from him. Billy picked up pace and sped off. He frantically looked around for a way out. Down the hill at the bottom of the lake, down the hill at the bottom of the field was a lake. Can rabbits swim? He thought. Billy, well, let's find out. Billy took the ball and jumped into the lake. Billy was a good swimmer, and the ball held tightly onto Billy's back. The rabbits stopped at the edge of the lake and shook their fists. Billy kept on swimming to the other side. A large frog on a lily pad bid them good morning. Good morning. Billy climbed out of the lake exhausted and laid down to rest. The ball said thank you and ran off without looking back. Billy went back to the edge of the lake and had a long drink of water. He could see the rabbits had gone back to the stadium. Exhausted, Billy walked back from the lake. He came upon a large green bush that looked familiar. As he got closer, he smelled the cheese. Phew! He found his way home. Billy crawled under the bush, following the smell of cheese, and found the door. Pushing the door open with his nose, he found himself back into the garden. He trudged up the garden to the house. Out of the corner of his eye, he saw something move. He turned his head and locked eyes with a rabbit. Normally, Billy would have chased the rabbit immediately. However, today, he just didn't feel like it. He turned his head back towards the house and carried on walking. The rabbit kept a wary eye on Billy as he chewed his dandelion. Billy scratched the door to come inside. Charlie opened the door, looking at his phone, and Charlie opened the door, still looking at his phone, and looked down. Oh, Billy, you're all wet. Billy shook himself to dry, causing Charlie to flinch backwards. Ew! Normally, Billy would look for some love, but he was too tired from all his exercise. He found his bed, laid down as Charlie complained about the mess he'd brought in the house. Billy, you are such a naughty dog. I'll go back to your phone, thought Billy as he went to sleep.